lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you all today. We have Dr. Paulette Harper and Cassandra Hayes. How are you ladies today?
Doing really well.
I am doing well.
Thank you so much for having us on.
I'm excited to have both of you on today. Listen, grab your virtual seats, everyone. We are going to have a great episode for you. You've been hearing from Dr. Paulette Harper, who's the visionary of Her Unbreakable Spirit, and how people are rising again and harnessing that power to be able to get up and rise yet again. Nothing is keeping these women down that's in this particular book, this anthology that you don't want to miss all of the details about. So we've had several of the authors come on already, and they've been sharing their backstories. And today we have another first-time author that's here with us. Let's give it up for Cassandra Hayes, first-time author. And she's going to be talking to us about her journey into becoming a newfound author in this anthology. So grab your virtual seats and go ahead and share the broadcast, and encourage everyone to tune in to learn how to rise up again after you've been broken. And even share your own journey. Share your journey of how maybe something broke you and it thought it broke you, but you rose again, right? All right. Dr. Paulette, I want to make sure that when people tune in today, that they know how to be able to get this particular anthology right from the beginning, and probably in the middle of the show and towards the end, we'll say that. But how do people go about getting a copy of this new book release, Her Unbreakable Spirit, Harnessing the Power to Rise Again?
Yeah, well, once again, thank you so much, Kim, for having us here, part 3 with the authors. And so with Her Unbreakable Spirit, actually, it's going to be releasing on December the 12th. And so the ebook will release on December the 12th. And so up until then, all the this are doing pre-sales. And so any one of the authors can provide readers with autographed copies of this particular book. And so look forward to drop on December the 12th. We're definitely going to be pushing for Amazon bestsellers. So we're going to really need our audience to rise up, come forth, and really push us to become bestsellers. So look for the date, save the date, December the 12th.
Yes. Okay. December 12th, y'all, over the holidays. This will be a great gift to give to people. So even if you get your own copy, order 2 and get, or more, 3, 4, 5, and get some to put in as holiday stuffers. So this is going to be a great thing. And I'll probably re-air this episode again right during the holiday season so that you'll know, get your copy. Get your copy of Her Unbreakable Spirit, and you can get it right from the author that's here today, Cassandra Hayes, or you can get it from Dr. Paulette Harper or on Amazon. They're going to be doing all kind of campaigns. As you can see, they've already started. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Dr. Paulette Harper, the visionary herself, and find out more as to how she got these first-time authors in this anthology to step out of their comfort zone and take some action. We'll be right. That's the question. I want you to already have your mind right now. We'll be right back right after this commercial break.
My father had 4 of his fingers amputated in a workplace accident. It was the first injured individual I represented, and I knew I had to win that case. When someone walks into my office and they've been injured, I know what they're going through. If you've been injured at work with Hunter and Everett. We've got the experience, so let us help you.
All right, we're back here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and Dr. Paulette, anytime you get an opportunity to work with as many authors as you have, because you are the visionary behind I should just tell everybody who you are, because even though you've been on the show many times, everybody watching this episode may not know who Dr. Paulette Harper is. So we're going to take a moment and say that you are a renowned figure in the literary world. You've achieved remarkable success at 14-time at this point, and 2-time best winning author, certified self-publishing coach, business coach, and mental health coach. So you wear a lot of different hats. You are also the TV host of Now Faith Is TV, which airs on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV. If you want to find it, you're going to find Now Faith Is TV, Amazon Kindle, Google Play, everywhere you pretty much can find Now Faith TV is. Now Faith Is TV. Now Faith Is TV. You're also all kinds of authors of some of the most amazing sounding titles, like Arise from the Ashes, Women Who Soar, Resilience in Hard Times, For Such a Time as This, The Breaking Point, I Survived the Storm. It's so many, y'all. I'm telling you, you have to just go and search Dr. Paulette Harper and all of the projects that she's worked on, Breaking the Silence, and many other collaborative books. But I want you to all welcome Dr. Paulette Harper here to the Kim Jacobs Show. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful, Kim. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Well, I'm honored to have you here today. And I know I normally ask you a lot of different questions, but I have to know, how do you get first-time authors like Cassandra Hayes to say, wait, what? I'm ready to write a whole chapter in a book for my first time ever, getting out of their comfort zone and then taking action. Talk to us.
Yeah, that's a great question. I just put the call out there, and I really think that a lot of it is timing of God, just divine connection. I think that it is just perfect timing for a lot of these authors. With all of my anthologies, it's about 98%, all of them are first-time authors. Okay. And so, which is a tremendous blessing, because I'm a nurturer. And I know that they are fearful. I know that they have questions. I know they're unsure about their story. And so I can really emphasize with that. And because I'm a nurturer, I can take them from right where they are and convince them that it's going to be okay.
Wait, before you go any further, because this is probably a good interjection point for Cassandra. Is that what happened with you? Because now you look like, oh, is that what happened to me? Go ahead. What are your thoughts to that, right quick?
Absolutely. Everything she said is correct. When we did our first consultation, we met up, and she wanted to know the direction I wanted to go. I wanted to go in a complete opposite direction. And what she said is so true. She was it was in a caring way. And she was like, I don't think that would be good. And it was so caring. And then we was talking, having a conversation. Tell me a little bit more. And things that I didn't even think of that I should write about, we brought it to life. And I mean, once later on, it was all just how everything just came full circle, and how everything it was like she said, in God's timing. And it was on point. It was a safe place, because I shared some intimate stuff. Okay, well, and I thought I knew what I was talking about, right? Nice. And it was like, this is what I want to do. And in a caring way, she was like, no. And then this is the direction, and we made it happen. When I tell you I was stretched beyond measure, I was, but a little kicking and screaming, but we made it happen. And, I stepped back in the student role. I never been this way before. And she has done this and has been successful. And I just trusted her. And now here I am.
Okay. You know how you said, okay. That's real. I just wanted to hear that interjection. But Dr. Paulette, so go back, and you have these first-time authors. You said about 98% of them are first-time authors. You get the opportunity to coerce them and guide them and nurture them. So carry on with what you were saying.
Yeah. So, the first time authors, a lot of them, they have so many, so much that they want to write. Okay. And so, you're limited to the 1,500 words, 2,000 words. And so you really have to be real precise. And so for me, it's so valuable to have that one-on-one session with them, because it helps me kind of help them to filter out what's necessary and what's not necessary. And so the things that are not necessary, they can always use in another book. And so for me, it is really capturing the idea of the author in the first paragraph, and pulling the reader in. And so my coaching style is this: I challenge the authors because I know that it's in them. Okay. I know that the creativity is in them. I know the story is in them. My job as the coach is to activate that creativity and pull it out of them in the 1,500 words. Okay. And have that structure. And that's the challenge that I think a lot of them may have, is structure, because you have to be able to write a story that it's going to flow from pulling the writer in to, okay, my emotions next. What did that experience do to me? How did I even maneuver through that, navigate through that? And then what was the outcome, And so when I'm coaching, the outcome has to always be for the reader. It
Right.
always has, the reader always has to win. There always has to be a solution. We may start out broken and hurt, okay, that's how we start our story. And then as we move the story along, it is, okay, what did I do from the brokenness, and then how did I overcome? And we always want to leave the reader with strategies, how to overcome, what they need to do next, And so I think when we can kind of focus a story on that, it gives the reader the success that they have no idea how the story is going to unfold, but I do as the coach. Okay. And so when they finally get their story done after it's been edited, they can look at themselves and say, wow, I did that, because it's their story. What I do and the editors do, we just make the story unfold in such a way that of course it's believable, because this is their story,
Yes.
And the editor polishes it up. But for the first time author, he has this masterpiece, and they all are masterpieces. They have a masterpiece that they can say, I did this. I wrote this. This is my very own story, and I can own this. And then they have that confidence that if they did it this time, they can do it again.
Yes, I actually am over here typing what you're saying too. And so the comment that I have, I hope y'all are typing in the studio audience too, so you can go back and later reference your own notes. These are my notes right here. So I type, you have to be able to write a story and have it flow in 1,500 words or less, 1,500 to 2,000 typically. This is with Dr. Paulette Harper is saying. And then I really love the point that you just made, which is there has to be, if it's a typo or anything, y'all let me know, because I'm over here typing, listening, doing all kind of stuff with you. There has to be a solution for the reader, not just the pain. That's a key takeaway that you as a coach, I'm sure, are able to impart to these authors. And for you all in the virtual studio audience, take note on what's being said, but also, are any of you all interested in being an author and you have your own questions? We have an expert here that is literally a multi, you know how people say serial entrepreneurs, where she's a serial best-selling authorpreneur. Is that a thing? Yeah. That's my new thing that I just made up on the spot. There you are. You're a serial authorpreneur specialist.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take it.
Okay. Okay. And then you hear Cassandra saying that she was getting coached, and some things she was saying just really wasn't even what Dr. Paulette thought would happen or need to happen. So she coached her and said, no, let's not go that way. Let's tweak this. And you're coachable, Cassandra. So I'm excited to hear that as well. All right. All right, we're going to take just another commercial break. And when we come back, I want to hear from you, Cassandra, and find out. We'll go back and forth, but I want to hear from you and find out a little bit about your backstory and what happened throughout your journey, because I know that you are a mental health specialist. Before we even take a break, let me tell people who you are as well, some things about you, and then we'll come back and hear some of your backstory. You're a visionary owner of C's Heavenly Boutique, LLC. You're also a dedicated advocate for mental health and domestic violence awareness, certified in mental health first aid for both youth and adults. And you also will pray a person through. I see that all throughout the tapestry of your bio here. Your own remarkable journey, which is what we're going to hear about, has inspired countless others to conquer adversity and leave an indelible mark on this world. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial break, and hear from Cassandra Hayes. We'll be right back. All right, everyone. We are back here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and we'd like to thank our episode sponsors that have taken the time to sponsor the Kim Jacobs Show, and we encourage you all to support their businesses. Let me let you know that today's episode is sponsored by attorney Charles Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. So if you're dealing with a disability or even a claim that's been denied, wrongful death of a loved one, or any type of workers' compensation, give them a call, 704-457-5000, 704-457-5000. And they are throughout the Carolinas, the Alabama, and the Richmond, Virginia area. Now, obviously, if you're hearing this in a different country, you're not going to connect right there, okay? But just if you're in those areas, feel free. And then also the vproducts.store. Whatever's happening in that coffee with the mushroom-infused coffee, this sponsor has been getting quite a bit of attention. They love the black coffee and the 6 mushroom infused coffees. So check them out at vproducts.store. Let them know the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. All right, Cassandra, talk to us and tell us a little bit about your journey in life that made you become so passionate about what you do today. The funny part is I have like all kind of glasses. So I realized I just put my brown glasses on. I'm doing the most over here. Go ahead, Cassandra. Can you hear me?
So my name is Cassandra. I am a mother, and I am now a first-time author. And as you mentioned, I am an advocate for both domestic violence and mental health. And that came about. I worked in domestic violence and with women's shelters for 6 years. I started out as a volunteer and then initially got hired. And my passion for mental health came about working from where I worked in a shelter, and I saw how a lot of the women were suffering in silence and they were not getting the resources that they needed. And then along with my own struggle where I suffered in silence with mental health from a lot of childhood trauma that was undealt with. And first of all, I didn't have a name for it and was unaware that that's what was happening. So I suffered because I didn't have a name for it and I didn't understand what I was going through, and I accepted it as if it was my life, if that makes sense, like the struggles of what I was going through until I got educated, until I sought out resources. And that came about, I was working as a behavioral health coordinator and working with a team of licensed social workers and nurses. And I did behavioral health assessments, and I was doing assessments for people. And then a few times I did the assessments, I was like, wait a minute, I'm going through that. And then from that point, I sought out help and for myself, and I started my journey on my wellness and getting better and getting educated. And now from the point of helping me to advocating, because it's a passion of mine, especially in our community. It's a stigma, it's a shame associated with it. And it takes courage to get help. And a lot of people are ashamed and they suffer in silence. And as we know, we hear about a lot of people taking their lives and, things of that sort, but it's a lot of resources out there. It's a lot of help out there, and just finding a safe place. So that's where my passion came about, for me, wanting to help others and advocate in that space for the mental health.
I'm glad you're bringing out the point, and I typed it here as well. Until you get educated and get proper resources, you may suffer in silence. And Cassandra is what your name is, right? Cassandra is saying that that's what she wants you to be able to actually get to those resources. When people are suffering in silence, because you can relate, because you actually did that, is it something that I'm trying to determine, is it a conscious choice and decision that I'm just going to deal with this the best way I know how on my own? Or is it subconscious? They really want the help, but they don't know who to turn to get the help. I've always wanted to ask that question, so I want to know.
Well, I can speak from my perspective. I didn't know. I didn't have a name for what I was going through. So me suffering in silence, I accepted what I was going through as if it was my norm, if that makes sense. And I didn't know. So some people may know, and then some people may not know, and they're suffering unaware and not understanding what they're going through. As far as me, like, anxiety and, from a lot of trauma, things of that sort, and depression, because it was things that was not dealt with. So I suffered in silence, unaware, and I thought it was my norm. I thought it was my life. So I thought I had to live through this and accept it as my norm. But once I found out that I did not, and that there was help, I became my own advocate to know what I needed and the things that I was going through. And I must say, my journey has been a good one, because by the grace of God, I have came across excellent providers that have helped me, has provided me with good tools and resources, and to help me evolve and grow. So that has been my experience. And when I was going through, and like, hey, you do not have to go through this. And, the freedom came and the chains started falling when I first started seeking help, like a few years. So I've been on this journey for some years now. And one of the providers that I had, a behavioral health provider, he gave me a freedom. He was like, don't you know all that you've gone through? And it's so much baggage that you're carrying. And it started at such a young age. He was like, you do not have to carry that. And a lot of the stuff that you're feeling guilty and shame of, you don't have to carry it, because it's not your fault. He said so many false expectations has been placed on you at a young age, and you've been carrying that, and you've been wearing that as if that is who you are, and this is how you're supposed to be, but you do not. So that's when my freedom started, because once someone validated what I was going through, how I was feeling, but then let me know, no, you do not have to stay in this place.
Wow. Okay. So that's very key. With people, when they're trying to take that first initial step to say, yes, I actually know I do need some help. What kind of step? Because I'm looking here, 1 in 3 women, it says 35.6%. This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline statistic line. And it says 1 in 4 men, 28.5 in the United States, have experienced rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. This is unbelievable. So what is a first step from your perspective? Because you've said a lot of great information already to help people that are unaware, that's just living in their own circumstances, not knowing that it's even abnormal. It is what it is, as people say. It is what it is. Everybody talk about that, right? So what first step would you give somebody
Right.
to take? And Dr. Paulette, if you have any input, any of you all, because I know you're a pastor, you counsel quite a few people, you wear so many hats too. Chime in and just share what first step would you recommend a person take that is unaware? It's like, I think I'm in a problem in a situation here because I feel like I'm being violated, but I don't know what to do. Any first step advice?
Go ahead, Cassandra.
I think acknowledging, well, I think, and I can speak personally as well, for I experienced domestic violence. So for me, my step when I got out and I was in the domestic violence shelter, me and my children, and my step was for my kids. I was dealing with someone that was, alcoholic, and it was verbal. It was not good, and and that used to upset my anxiety and things of that sort. So I did it for my kids, but it's a lot of what ifs because I went through it. Because at the time, my youngest was, I think, 4 years old, and then my sons was like teen, and then preteen, my youngest. And it was like, how am I going to survive? How am I going to do this? So it's a lot of what ifs. So I think you got to get to the point where you got to know that, it's not a safe place for you. And then if you have children, out for your kids. And then it's really like faith as well. You're stepping out, because when I left everything. I left everything fully furnished, whatever clothes, and we left with bags. So you have to be willing to make that sacrifice. And then on the flip side, working with women of domestic violence and getting more educated about it. If someone knows someone is dealing with it, you can't force them either, because they have to be willing and ready to make that change.
Right.
So one, you have to be ready and willing to want to make that change.
Okay. And Dr. Paulette, you were going to make a comment too. Feel free.
Yeah, I think everything she is saying is so great and so on point. Because I experienced, emotional trauma. And one of the things she mentioned was, when you're going through something, you don't know that it has a name until, you probably do some research and whatnot. And then I know for me, it was identifying, oh, okay, I'm having all these symptoms, and it's called emotional trauma, and then now you have an idea now how to treat it, and in the steps that you need to take. And so, she mentioned about, the individual has to be ready to want to, make the change.
That's right.
and move forward with that. And then realizing that your present condition is not the best for you. Whether you contribute to it, whether it was just, the individual who imparted that upon you, but you have to know within yourself that situation is not going to be conducive for me and where I want to go in my life. And so even saying yes, that I want to get out of it is a major accomplishment, because it takes courage to do that, because life is not going to be the same anymore. And so I know, for me, and then she also mentioned about resources, back then, because therapy is so taboo in our community. It's right. Almost like it's a bad word if you saved and you go to do a counselor, And so, when I was going through, having the therapist really did help me, because that was my only resource that I knew. I knew the Lord, I knew the word, but I needed that added piece to help me kind of filter out my emotions that I was so unfamiliar with at the moment, at the time, And so, I concur with, everything Cassandra is saying about, the mental health piece, what we go through, how we feel, how we have to identify it, and wanting to take those necessary steps for a better life, because one, you deserve it.
I love that, and I agree with everything you all are saying. But then on the flip side of it is interesting, because I know in my community that, I've been well known in the community. I've been on billboards, all this stuff. So whenever I go for counseling, I have to kind of interview the people that's counseling me too, because I'm like, they know me, and I don't know if anybody else can relate. This is just me talking as Kim, and I'll start off with the intake person or whatever, and we're just talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, they don't know me at all, right? Hey, I can let loose and share my thoughts, right? Because I just don't want to be in there telling all my business to anybody that I know is everybody that know me, right? So I'm in there and I'm talking, and then the person that's going to come in to formally become possibly my counselor, I'm like, you know me. I know I've seen you one or twice. So I don't know if that is that something, especially with you, Dr. Paulette, being Dr. Harper, being in ministry and going through some of the things you've gone through. Is that something that you take into consideration too?
Yes, interesting that you would say that, because the counselor that I went to did know us. And that was one reason why he did not want to go to counseling. Okay. But I took it as, this is a professional, and she's coming, and she has more to risk than I would, because she's a professional. Okay. And the fact that I trusted her as another ministry leader, as a professional counselor, I knew that she wasn't going to judge me. I knew that she was going to give me professional advice, that it was, filtered through the word. And so I felt real comfortable sharing with her what I was going through and how I even got there. And to be honest with you, she didn't even think about the fact that we were friends. I was a client and I needed help. And that's all that she was concerned with, helping me get through the trauma that I was feeling and that I was going through.
I'm glad to hear that, because I've counseled people that I know that are personal friends and family, and they've taken the advice very seriously, and to the point where even situations where maybe someone got divorced and then they got back together just based on the advice that God had given through us at that particular time. So regardless of what things we have going on in life, in our own life circumstances, believe it or not, it still helps somebody else on their journey, because God still can impart wisdom through you, Yeah. So I'm loving this discussion, Cassandra. See, that's what I told you. We're gonna have a good conversation, right? You're like, okay, now I'm good. I'm good. You enjoying it?
I am. Yes, I am
Good,
definitely enjoying the conversation.
Even though the topic is obviously more of a heavy one. Yeah.
Right.
So listen, in the studio audience too, if you have questions, comments, make sure you go ahead and put them in there. We'll get them answered throughout today's discussion. And Cassandra, when we come back, I would love to hear your chapter title and what are some of the takeaways from your chapter for viewers and readers to glean from. Okay. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial break.
Why learn about health when you can experience it? Experience it in beautiful Florida in February 2024. Join us for 3 days of integrative and intensive health and healing education and empowerment with the expertise of the following Healthopedia author, speaker, and facilitators. The world-renowned homeopath and acupuncture physician, Dr. James Marinakis, 4-decade health coach and holistic nutritionist, Dr. Joe D. Bear, and others such as Kimberly Meredith, Dame Doria Cordova, Rex Sykes, Dr. Gary Sanchez, Jamie Kerr, Serena Brown-Travis, and more. Experience daily morning walking and yoga, interactive participation, panel discussions, and more for your own epiphany of health. Get your tickets now.
All right, everyone, we are back, and we are talking today with Dr. Paulette Harper, the visionary behind this anthology that you want to get, especially during this holiday season. Tell everybody the name of the book, Dr. Harper.
It is entitled Her Unbreakable Spirit, Harnessing the Power to Rise Again, which is going to be released on December the 12th.
And where can they get their copies? I'm going to put your contact information up right now too. So let people know how they can stay connected with you and where they can get the book from you. And then I'm going to put Cassandra's up as well.
Yeah, so anyone can connect with me on my website, which is pauletteharper.com. I am on all the social media outlets as Dr. Paulette Harper, also known as Pastor P. For the information about the copies of the book, all the authors are doing pre-sales right now, so you can buy an autographed copy from any one of the authors.
All right. And Cassandra, tell everybody, I have a friend named Cassandra who actually works here with the show too. So I say her name all the time, like literally daily, multiple times a day. So, and it's spelled the same way as yours. But Cassandra, tell everybody how they can stay connected with you and how they can get a copy of the book from you as well. We can't hear you.
They can stay connected with me on Facebook. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
But go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. On Facebook, Cassandra. On Facebook, you can connect with me, Cassandra Hayes, but it's the Cassandra.Gill56 Facebook. And then on also my business Sees Heavenly Boutique on both Instagram and Facebook. And then if you would like to order the book, the link in the bit.ly, you will go to bit.ly Cassandra Hayes and order the book. And then at that website, it also have links to my actual business website, Sees Heavenly Boutique.
All right. So you can get a copy from any of the authors that are featured in this book. Now, how many people are in the book, Dr. Paulette?
There are 10 co-authors, 11 including myself.
Yes, and we're going to hear some about your chapter in a minute as well. Cassandra, if you would tell us about your chapter, what is the title and what do you really want readers to walk away from after they read your chapter?
My title of the book is From Struggles to Strength, A Journey of Redemption and Advocacy. So just to give you a little snippet, my chapter, it covers, well, I was a teen mom, and then I was a junior high school dropout, not a beauty school dropout nor a high school dropout, but dropped out of junior high, walking through the journey of, touching some things that I went through, as we discussed, as far as domestic violence and the steps that I took far as the pivot, what put me on a track of wanting to change my life from the my teenage years and a lot of things that I went through, like probably like a juvenile delinquent, I guess you could say. But it was a person in my life, which was my older brother, and he was the one that pivot came from when he came to me, and pretty much it was a no chaser. He was raw and uncut. I can't say the stuff that he said, but it wasn't nothing abusive or anything. It was just like caring, and he pointed me in the right direction, and pretty much was like, you need to get it together. You need to go back to school, and everybody else think what you're doing is cute, but I don't. He really got
whipped you into shape. He whipped you into shape.
Right. And then here's the thing: a year later, after he had that come to Jesus moment with me, because that's what I'm going to call it, right? Because you think, well, I thought I was grown, right? I had kids young. I had my children young, right? And became an emancipated minor. So you pretty much couldn't tell me nothing. I had that grown syndrome, but he was raw, uncut, into the chase. But then after he, had that come to Jesus moment with me, what really pushed me in the right direction, a year later, he passed away. And in the words that he said to me stuck with me. And then I went back to school and I got my GED. I went to an alternative school because I had 3 kids by the time I was 18. So when I went to the alternative school, when my brother passed away, I was 19. And then my youngest son, he was like a month shy of turning 1 year old. So that fall, he passed away in June of 1988. Wow. And that September, I was enrolling in an alternative learning school for me to go back to school, which I did. And I went back to school and got my GED. But here's the thing. So my story is like pretty much what you've been through does not define who you are. And of course, how my life started out, right? Dropping out of junior high school, having children at a young age. I could have became a statistic and not even realizing my brother, it was all a plan of God, right? He planted that seed and it was the nudge in the right direction to where I'm at today, because guess what? Yeah. I just finished my bachelor's degree. I graduate my commencement on the 18th. And prior to that, I completed my associate's back in 2011. So what you've been through does not define who you are, nor does it make you the complete person of who you are. It's just a little piece of the puzzle, right? Of the making of who you are. So my story is pretty much just telling my story and sharing it, right? Being a teen mom, dropping out of junior high school, and then my struggles with mental illness. I touch on that as well. But then at the same time, it's a strategy for people like, okay, this is where I was, this is what I went through, but these are the steps that I took to get better. And these are the steps to help. These are the steps I took to get me to where I'm at today. So it's also going to help people like maybe who suffered in silence, or maybe who know they're suffering with whatever, but they don't have the courage, or they're not willing to yet step out, but to let them know that you don't have to stay where you are. So what I want people to get from my book, I really want them to get up and reclaim their life, and you don't have to stay stuck where you are.
Yes.
And that's, well, once you read, I want people, I don't even. Yes.
No, I carry on. Go ahead.
I just want people it's not even about me, right? Because I learned that on this journey. I'm a Christian as well, right? I thought it was about me, but guess what? It's not about me. And everything that I've gone through, it wasn't even about me. It was to get to this point. And when I said earlier that you're going to see how everything ties together, and it is God timing. Even with Dr. Paulette, she didn't know I was in school. When I told her my story, she was like, okay, this is what we're going to write about, right? So things that I swept under the carpet and things that I thought that it was non-void that would help someone else, as far as talking about dropping out of junior high school, and I didn't see it as a big thing because I had the successes, I had the wins as far as going back in my GED. I went and got my associates, and then working on my bachelor's. Me dropping out of school and have anything to do with me not being a good student, because I always got good grades of that sort. It was just due to me hanging out with the wrong crowd, and then me and the school bully, we came toe to toe with each other, got suspended, and never went back, right? So that was the reason why I dropped out, and then just doing what I was doing, right? So I just want people to really, really take it as an inspiration, help them, to encourage them that you do not have to stay where you are, and to know that there is help out there, but all help is not good help. That's right. Find the right help, find it where a place where you're going to be safe. And like you said, you do have to interview counselors. You just can't go to everybody, because it's not a one size fit all.
No, it's not.
So, and don't give up. Like if the first counselor or therapist don't work, keep going and find somebody that works for you. And I just want people to be encouraged. I want people to be uplifted, and I don't want I just want people not to exist. I want them to thrive and live, because I've been there just surviving and not thriving and just existing. So I'm not just saying it as a cliche. I lived it, but now I'm on the other side of it, and it's through the grace of God. So I'm grateful.
Well, I'm grateful that you stepped out of your comfort zone and took heed to the coaching and the moving of God to get you to become a new author. Because I think this is the beginning of many books that will be birthed through you, Cassandra, for sure. So thank you for letting God use you and for being coached by Dr. Paulette Harper. Listen, there's a domestic violence hotline. If you do think that you are dealing with anything that's domestic violence related, definitely reach out. You can go in your car, you can walk down. I don't know. I don't want to just flip it like you could do this, you could do that, because I don't know what situation you're in. So everyone is in their own real-time situation. So I'm definitely not a person that says, well, you could easily, I don't know what you're dealing with. Yeah. But whatever you're dealing with, if you're able to get to a moment where you can call 800-799-7233, 800-799-7233. That's the domestic violence hotline in the United States. Now, because the Kim Jacobs Show streams in 100 countries, then make sure in your local country area that you look up your domestic violence hotline. And one time we did a search, and there are like probably about 1,000 different ones depending upon the country. So we weren't able to put them all up here, but please reach out to your domestic violence hotline in your area. All right, Dr. Paulette, I'm going to, so people are putting comments. Let me take a moment to acknowledge some of our studio audience members here. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right. Great title is what someone said. Sakina. Yes, Sakina, I see your comment. Let me pop that up. It's a lot of comments over here. Let me see. All help is not good help is what Dayron said, and he agrees with what you're saying. All help is not good help. Let's see, another audience member, Sunshine Murray, says, bless you, Cassandra Hayes. Owning and claiming it is the key. With faith to know God will do it. Your story will bless others to take the necessary steps. All right, so they're congratulating you. Own it and claim it. Faith is the key. You're helping others to take steps. God bless you, Cassandra. Your story will save so many young girls, Cassandra. I hope you're encouraged today. They shouldn't you shout outs over here. And here you are, first-time author, and you done already made your mark on society. Yes, this person, Sakina, says. She said, come through, Black girl magic. And y'all on the audio podcast, you can't see I got my hand up to my mouth. I'm like, the Black girl magic is what Sakina J says. Sakina. All right. Love that title is what's being shared as well. Lots of comments. Okay, we'll keep your comments coming in throughout today's discussion. Yeah, these have been some great comments. All right. We're going to take another commercial break. Dr. Paulette, when we come back, I'd love to hear about your chapter, because you have a chapter in this book as well. And we want to hear a little bit about it and what people can expect when they read yours, okay? All right. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this break. Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now, it's no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community. All right, everyone, we are back and we're talking with Dr. Paulette Harper, the visionary behind Her Unbreakable Spirit, and we're talking with one of the first-time authors, Cassandra Hayes. Dr. Paulette, tell us about your chapter in this book.
Yeah, my chapter is entitled Stretched but Unbreakable. Stretched but Unbreakable. And so in my chapter, I talk about taking a step of faith in what I believe God had directed me to do. I had came out of a divorce. And so for me, it was, okay, what do I do next? And so taking a step of faith. And in my intro, I asked the question, how many of us have believed God to have spoken to us? And when we get out there and we do it, it does not look like what we've expected. It looks like we really want to go back to being comfortable, all right? But we're too far out there, you know? And so for me, and that's really where I was. So I took this step of faith, trusting in what I believe, you know, was the direction that I was going to go through in my life, but being hit with a lot of adversity, being hit with a lot of disappointments, being hit with a lot of backbiting. And for me, the stretching came when I had to endure it, but I also had to keep moving forward, believing and trusting that I had heard from the Lord and that this too was going to pass. And that in order for me to get through this, to get to my promise, that I had to go through this process. So, you know, when we are stretched as believers, we're stretched by our adversity, we're stretched through pain, we're stretched through a lot of the things that we go through in life. It's always a stretching for us for believers, because it is not always the way that we see or we believe it's going to be. For believers, we don't want no pain. We want to receive a word from the Lord, and we just want to get the promise without who you are. And so for me, the stretching was, okay, God, I know I heard from you. I'm facing this adversities and a lot of disappointments, and you are really showing me a lot of stuff that I did not see before. Now, what do I do? Because those things did come to break me. Oh, they did. They did come to break me, but I didn't allow it to break me, but I did allow it to shape me so that I can become who God wanted me to be in the process.
That's why I think I almost feel like we're twins. I say that often because there are things that we know do come to kill, steal, destroy. They come in to try to break us and break our spirit and let us get put back in our place, per se. But at the end of the day, we know that God is greater than any of those circumstances and situations. So how do we still just press forward through the storms, through the things in life that are trying to throw us off kilter? So I love your chapter and how you're stretching. You're stretching. When I think of something stretching, it's going to be like all the way back there before you kind of can sling it forward and make it happen. What advice do you give people that are being stretched and they know they're being stretched? It's not like they're confused. They know. I know. I can only say Kim. I can't even talk about they. Kim knows she's being stretched. What advice do you
Kim,
give? There's a delay. I don't know.
Yeah. So the advice, there is. So one of the things that I would really, share with people, and even in my story, it is acknowledging that where you are right now is not the determining factor. That there is more for you to do. That there is somewhere else that God wants you to get to. But this right here, these are mountains that you're gonna have to climb. Okay, these are situations that you're going to have to get through. These are situations that you're going to have to get over. These are things that you're going to have to deal with, because there are some things in life that God shows us that we may have not wanted to deal with before. And so, that stretching comes where we're being pulled, our faith is being stretched. Our character is being stretched, our behavior, all those things that really define us as people, as humans, is really being stretched. And so for anybody reading that chapter, it really is identifying where you are and submitting to this process that God is taking you through. Submitting through it, no matter how painful it is, no matter how revealing it is, no matter how difficult it is. This is the process in which God wants us to go through. And so after I go through this development, after I go through this process, what is it going to look like when I get through? And for me, it was, that was a hard pill to swallow. That was like, wow. I mean, I had some blows through in that time. It was some major, major blows. Mm-hmm. And nothing, and I say this in my chapter too, I don't think nothing hurts worse than a blow from somebody you know.
A blow from somebody you know. Y'all type that in the studio audience. Because a blow from somebody you know.
From somebody you know.
You'd be like, what's happening to me? Am I in a horror film?
Yes. But realizing that God knew before it came to me that this was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so now what is my approach? What is my attitude? How am I going to use the situation to really overcome? And once I get through it, what is that going to look like? And for me, it really did make me stronger. It really did. It really did chisel some things about Paulette that she needed to work on herself, because even though God looks at how people treat us, but he also looks more at what we do as a response, mm-hmm. how we respond, Right. So being stretched, but being unbroken, that I can be stretched in this process, but no matter what, you're not going to break my spirit. You're not going to break me as an individual, that I'm going to learn to overcome this. I'm going to be stretched. I'm going to be tried in this, but I am unbreakable.
Yes. I'm unbreakable. Cassandra's unbreakable. If you're unbreakable in the studio audience, put I'm unbreakable. Type that in the comment section. No matter when you're watching this or hearing this broadcast, type I'm unbreakable. You have to put it out in the atmosphere in order for it to even become a reality, so that you have something for God to work with. Okay, Cassandra, give us a closing comment, please. Anything that you wanted to say that maybe you didn't get a chance to say on today's episode?
I just want anyone that's watching to be encouraged and to know that your best is ahead of you. It's not behind you. Don't give up. And something I tell myself almost every day is just keep pushing through. Push through and don't give up on life, and know that you are purpose. You just walking through the process of life.
That's good. You are purpose. You're walking through the process of life. Don't give up. Keep pushing. You can see this teen mom made it to the other side through domestic violence, through mental health issues, through childhood trauma and different things she was experiencing. A brother that said enough is enough before he transitioned from this earth, that catapulted her to her new outcome of her life. I'm just so grateful, Cassandra Hayes, that you've been here today to share your story. And this first time is definitely not the last time for all this yet to come through you. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Paulette, any closing comment?
Yeah. Once again, Kim, thank you so much for bringing all the authors to your show. I appreciate you so much. So I would just encourage those who are listening here. We talked about, Her Unbreakable Spirit, and just really having a spirit of fortitude. Just having a no. I'm not a coward. I'm not a coward. So I just encourage anyone to, of course, grab a copy of the book when it's released in December, and support all of these amazing, amazing authors. And then always, look for me to, come and, launch another book and bring another group of authors with me as well. And I just want to applaud Cassandra in this journey, being a first-time author, her, trusting me in this being stretched. she was stretched, trusting me in this process, but, knowing that this outcome is going to get us here, and there's so much more, and there is, greater ahead as well.
Outstanding. Thank you for your contribution to the world, because you are making a indelible mark on society. So thank you. Everyone, make sure you know that it's only through your support financially to the Kim Jacobs Show that we're able to come on and serve your family in your own home, the comfort of your home, to watch this show. So please make sure you contribute any amount, whether some people say no amount is too small, which is fine. I appreciate any dollar amount, and no amount is too large. So make sure you know that you can send any type of contribution to support the Kim Jacobs Show as we bring balance to the world, one household at a time, beginning with your home and your family. And as a busy mom or a busy woman that is dealing with all different hats and responsibilities, these guests come on and share how you can just keep your sanity and manage this thing called life. You can Cash App at Kim Jacobs Inc. or paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. And there are other ways as well, but stay connected with us and definitely support the broadcast. All right, that is today's episode. And we have quite a few other new episodes coming up right throughout the week at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I see more of your comments that came in. We're getting ready to disconnect. My mom said, hey, yes, Lord. She said, yes, Lord, for this broadcast. And I'm unbreakable. Her personally, she became unbreakable through your testimony today. Thank you. Thank you. That's good. You're right. Sunshine said, God already knew you're the person you are for what you've gone through. Unbreakable. All right, you guys. Thank y'all so much. I see all of your comments, and they'll take a moment and go back through the platforms and respond to some of your comments. Thank you all for tuning into today's episode. Thank you, Dr. Paulette Harper. Let's put the book one more time so y'all know what you're looking for during the holidays. Here we go. Her Unbreakable Spirit, Harnessing the Power to Rise Again. Y'all grab your copy, and your ebook copy, your hard copy, every availability that's there. And we will see you again right here tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Kim Jacobs Show. Have a great one. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family